Hey guys, what's going on? Just wanted to do a quick video covering what I think is going to happen with some of the new movies and projects going on in Star Wars. I think with the recent announcement of the Mandalorian movie and some of the other projects that are apparently in the works, I think it's very possible we will see Luke Skywalker again, and I think more than likely this will be in one of the upcoming movies. I just think it would be rare to get him and what I would argue is the climax of The Mandalorian in the season 2 finale, and then some of the extra stuff that was done in the Book of Boba Fett. I just think it would be hard to believe that all of that would be set up just for them never to come back to it. So I think we'll probably get some more of Luke Skywalker in some of these new and upcoming projects. They're just going to have to come up with some clever way to bring him back in, because I think it was a little bit rushed how they quickly brought Grogu back into The Mandalorian with Din, and he kind of just left Luke right away, and then Luke made him choose between him and Din. So I think they'll kind of find a way around this, maybe something that brings the Mandalorian back to Luke. Maybe he needs Luke's help with something. Maybe he finds something, whether it's like a new Sith or something with the Force where he gets into contact with Luke and that brings him into it. Or it could be something where Din doesn't think it's safe for him to be with Grogu, and then he'll maybe drop him back off as almost like a babysitter, or just so he can have more time to train with Luke. Maybe they'll talk about doing more of a hybrid thing, like he'll spend time with both Din and Luke instead of one or the other, so he can be both a Mandalorian and a Jedi in his near future. But again, if the rumored title for the movie is The Mandalorian and Grogu, you might not get that because it wouldn't make sense for them to take Grogu out of it. But maybe if it ends up being a trilogy, this is what we would work towards the end of the film, and then we'd have more of Din by himself. But I'm sure Disney really likes Grogu. They really like the merchandise, so I doubt they would really take him out of it. But that's where I think you could get more of Luke with Grogu, or maybe Luke coming into it some other way. It seems like their de-aging technology keeps getting better and better, so I doubt it would be something that they wouldn't come back to. And I think this opens up a lot of other options. I think this could even eventually work to Leia and Han also making their de-aging appearances, possibly also with Luke. We could get a version of Legends Luke in live action. The Book of Boba Fett sets up what looks to be his new Jedi Academy. We know it eventually didn't turn out too good with the sequels and The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, but we don't really see the intermediate phase here, so I think we could finally get a Legends version of Luke where he's basically this Jedi master who's now the teacher. He's still in his prime years, but he's starting a new Jedi Academy, and he's really starting to become more of a Yoda-like figure. And I think this is another project. I don't think it would necessarily be in anything they've talked about recently. This might be in maybe part of The Mandalorian eventually, depending what path they go and how far into the future they go and how much closer they go to the sequels in a timeline perspective. I don't think this would really be anything revolving Ahsoka, whether it's another season or a movie, and I don't think this would obviously be in the Rey movie unless it was some sort of a flashback sequence, because we know Luke has already passed away by this time. Maybe he'd appear again as a Force ghost, but I think it'd be neat to have some sort of project or some sort of sequence that shows more of Kylo Ren or Ben Solo at a young age. This could be with a de-aged Luke Skywalker. This could be with a de-aged Han Solo. And Leia, they wouldn't even have to be in it too much because they also kind of just dropped Ben off at his academy as well. And even though it looks like Adam Driver is pretty much done with acting in Star Wars, you could get a de-aged version of him or just someone that could play him as a much younger version, so you wouldn't need him specifically to do it. I think that would be a really interesting project as well. It could almost lead to be some sort of a Revenge of the Sith that sets up the sequels. And then you kind of see eventually how everything goes wrong, much like we see the turn of Anakin Skywalker to Vader. And then we obviously know what happens in the original trilogy. So I think that's definitely something they could do, maybe in addition to how Luke Skywalker could kind of cameo or maybe be more of a secondary character in some of these projects. They also might expand Ahsoka into a movie as well, and it's also possible Luke could be brought into that. It could be Ahsoka getting involved with his academy. But yeah, just some thoughts on that. Let me know how you guys think he could maybe come back and make more of a live action appearance with some of this de-aging technology. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you later.